Irina, welcome back to the show. A difficult game today with the white pieces against Alice Lee. You know her so well. You've played 2 matches in last year's edition. You started off with a win both of those matches. Today, a much different story. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, we had a kind of Panov variation that quickly got into something that I think neither of us were very familiar with. I was a little surprised here by the move G6 when she refused to capture the pawn back and
refused to take on D5.
Yeah, right. So G6, of course, it's, you know, kind of, it's a move that makes sense. It exists. And then it's kind of like a hybrid, right? Because normally white would be having like a pawn on D4 in these positions, you know, because to keep the D5 pawn, white is often, you know, playing queen A4 check, right? So basically, it seems like logically that G6 would not be as good because I didn't even have to commit my queen to A4 to keep this pawn. Okay, so I played bishop C4. Then the one thing I wasn't so sure about is where my knight should go.
Instead of either F3
E2 or F3,
E2.
right?
Yeah.
Like I kind of was second guessing myself. I mean, of course, I played it to E2 because I had some thoughts that like it would go to F4 one day, protect the pawn. But then I realized it really didn't need to. I didn't need my knight for that. Like I could always just go queen B3. So maybe the knight could have gone to F3, but okay, knight E2.
Knight E2 is one of the main moves. Knight F3, sure, maybe a bit more games in the database, but knight E2 is a very decent move as well. Castle.
Yeah, castles. Okay, D3 is like, I mean, here I was, you know, pretty happy. I was like, okay, have an extra pawn. Not clear how she's going to play. So she came up with this interesting plan of A6 and B6, right? And the thing is, like, I was definitely aware of these B5 ideas, like in the game. In the game, it looked like I just kind of blundered it, which I kind of did, but I also was aware of these ideas. Right. And I mean, I have to say, like, yeah, I wasn't so impressed with my play in this part, like H3, yeah,
D4,
everything.
it felt like it was a bit off in the
Well,
position.
I did H3 in order to play bishop F4 and not have, like, knight H5. So maybe...
Because of bishop to H2.
Yeah, maybe I should have gone for that. I'm trying to remember. So what made me change my mind?
That was one of the main lines. Bishop to E3 was also a very good move. Bishop
Yeah.
to F4, the same idea with B5,
Yeah.
but it doesn't come with as much power with the pawn on D3. Right?
Yeah, D4, I mean, I was trying to restrict that knight, but honestly, I walked right into B5, and that did not feel good because I knew actually, well, that here I just had to hold the game because, you know, how you get the sense of danger. It's like I knew this was not a position that, you know, white is better in despite the extra pawn. It's a position you gotta just hope that you can neutralize black's activity in. I mean, she has the D5 square, the play against the D pawn, and my B pawn is just completely irrelevant. So like, you know, from this point on, I was just trying to be very careful to not let my position deteriorate. And, you know, fortunately, I wasn't, you know, really made to
and it
suffer.
felt like you did that.
Yeah.
Now, one question. We
knight takes,
were considering
right.
knight takes.
Of
What
course.
was your response?
Yeah, queen A4
queen
was
to
my
A4
response.
was your plan.
Yeah, and actually, I was a little surprised by bishop D5 that she let me, you know, have knight F4 with tempo. But I was like, oh, maybe she's like, you know, playing for a win like this because she doesn't want to allow queen A4, which seems like it's going to force the queen trade, and I probably could equalize, right? Like I was
something like
bishop
this.
A6, yep, and you know, bishop B3, and kind of petering out to a draw. So I did think that her decision was interesting, even if it did leave the knight on B6 kind of not in the best position.
Did you feel at this point that she was trying to play for more?
I mean, it depends on, I guess it depends exactly what she's thinking in playing this move, because she was saying that she played on bishop D5, she was actually surprised by knight F4. So then I can understand why she played it, because she was saying that she thought like knight F4 would eventually get hit with G5 and I would have problems on G2. But, you know, after rook E1, it didn't turn out that way. So then, in a way, then maybe...
What was the problem with
G5 well, I could go like, you know,
just
knight H5. And, I mean, it's also very double-edged. Yeah, like here, I mean, okay, I was going to say the not only knight G7, there's even queen G4 is a move that you can look at. I mean, so it definitely
gets dangerous.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like black is the one playing for anything here. So she couldn't go for these ideas. And that means kind of... Well, you see, I never wanted to put my pawn in F3, right? Because it's just so ugly. So ugly to put that pawn there, weaken the E3 square, the D4 pawn would check. So this way, at least I got to play carefully. I see the computer likes my bishop F1.
Oh, it does. It certainly does.
So careful, yeah. I mean, we were looking after the game with her at this move Queen A4 instead of Bishop takes E3 because I was thinking it's like her only chance. I can show you the line that we looked at and see what the computer
at what
thinks.
Point?
After Bishop E3. Yeah, I thought like Queen A4 was, something that she could try to make it a little bit unpleasant for me. And then there's this line, so Queen takes A4, Knight A4, Rook D1, and E5, and here we looked at Knight E2. Mm-hmm. Knight takes B2 and Rook B1. And we were looking at this position. It's kind of amazing because it looked like White was holding on.
Yes.
And White is holding on.
You still have some Bishop to E4.
Yeah, Bishop
ideas.
E4, Bishop takes D4, and it's going to be a draw. So, but I would have had to kind of find something, make a few decisions still after Queen A4.
And it's also not unclear that this is actually just a draw,
yeah.
right?
But when she took on E3, then I knew, okay, I was definitely out of danger. I was going to be able to move my B pawn up, and she has to trade the knights. Otherwise, she might get in trouble. Yeah.
It felt like after this, after you missed this move B5, you kind of set your mind on just equalizing and pulling the brakes.
Yep.
Is that how you felt as well? And even towards the end, you didn't even try for more. Yeah,
well, it's hard to try for more because you could lose, I didn't, we can look at the end, since we have so much time, Christian, until the match between Fabi and Aronian resumes. But I thought she might try Queen F8 here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Queen E5, Queen D6. And here I was planning to trade the queens, and I thought okay. It was more like I was thinking, could I be better? Could I, or not? So I'm not surprised she didn't go for this one, but it's hard for me to play for a win when she has this diagonal and always F3 square, D5 square with the queen. So it felt like a normal point to wrap things up at.
Absolutely. Now talk to us about Alice Lee. You know her from last year. What changed in this 1 year period?
Well, I think she's got a lot more experience. She's been playing a lot. She's had a really good season in the Pro Chess League, playing against a lot stronger players really successfully. She was young and talented a year ago, and she's young and talented and more experienced after a year. It's nice to see her progress. I'm looking forward to her playing on the Olympiad team, in Budapest in 2024. I think we definitely need some young players joining the team. I'm also enjoying the match with her, and, hopefully we're going to play even more exciting game tomorrow.
You are the one Grandmaster in this competition. Do you feel like she has Grandmaster potential as well? Yeah,
definitely. Of course, yeah. If she just keeps doing what she's doing and playing at the rate that she's playing at and just seeking out that stronger competition and working on her game, I don't see any reason why in a few years she couldn't be a GM. Guys,
join the conversation. We still have a few minutes before the big match starts.
Well, first of all, Irina, I couldn't agree with you more. I think Alice Lee is just one of the great talents of America, and watching her gain experience, as you said, is marvelous. I see her as a future anchor of the Olympic team, so definitely all the way there. So I would offer you the advice of Victor Korchnoi: beat them while they're young.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Absolutely. Jovi.
Yeah, no, I didn't really have too many questions for Irina, but I'm kind of interested about how you approach this tournament, though, as a whole.
Oh, how I'm approaching it as a whole. Yeah. Okay, that's the question. I would say I approach it the same way I approach all my tournaments. Obviously, I'm, doing my best, trying to be, kind of clever in the preparation, what kind of, openings I'm choosing against my opponents. And I feel like overall I've played, pretty decently, a pretty decent level of chess. This game seems a little bit bad from, compared to some of the other ones I've played. But on the other hand, even here, once I saw there was a problem, I just kind of, I was able to take care of it before it devolved into anything serious. It's kind of like when you have a little bit of a leak, and you just, plug that leak and it doesn't get any worse. So from that point of view, I think I did my job in this game. Of course, it's a different story that I didn't make anything of the white pieces, and completely played rather, lackadaisically for a couple of moves there in the opening. But you know, okay, there's going to be a second game, and hopefully I'm just going to be able to like play some good chess.
Now, Irina, you're also a coach, a teacher, but you also have a new YouTube channel. Is that correct? Let's give it a shout out. What do you teach there on your YouTube channel?
Christian. Yeah, you're my fellow YouTuber.
Yes.
You know, I also watch your channel, Christian, with Fabiano, to get all the latest chess news. And yeah, a couple of months ago, I started my channel. It's actually like my first time talking about it publicly, like, you know, the reference I made at the beginning of the tournament as well. But up until that point, I haven't even let people know about it because I was just trying to add more content, do more videos. And yes, I do use my coaching experience, like really because I work with people every day. So I get to see what are the common mistakes in thinking at this level that a lot of casual players are at, you know. And I try to focus on that in the video. So like every video has some sort of instructive takeaway point.
Irina, thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow in the second game.
Congratulations, Irina. Good luck tomorrow in your game.